In Power BI Desktop, now we are going to get the data from that data source, right? So we are taking this Northwind sample data source. Okay, so this is O data or a published database. So we just go to get data, select O data feed. So we are going get data and just paste your link. Here I can see all the tables. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select order details. Okay, so any table you can select. I'm just selecting order details, and you can see here in the preview window. Now, when you are loading the data from any database, then you have a very useful. Let's say here in order details table, there is one column that is product ID, right? So product ID data is coming from the products table. Okay, so it means in order details table, there's some data which is like coming from the other tables. Okay, so manually it would be difficult when you will have like more columns. So in this table, let's say we have only 6 columns only. Okay, but let's say if you have 50-60 columns in any table, then it would be difficult for you to choose all those tables like which all like where this table is having the relationship with other tables. Okay, so for that there is one functionality, select related tables. Okay, so just click on it and you notice that this table automatically selected by once I clicked on this button, this selected orders and products automatically. Why? Because here we are getting the data from order, because there is already, this is a like highly normalized database. Okay, so this table was already having order details table was already having a relationship with order and product table. Okay, so once I don't need to manually choose orders and products, what I did, I simply selected this table and clicked on select related tables. Okay, so what all the other tables was in use inside this order details, all those tables have been selected, right? So which one? Those orders and products. Now when I again clicked on select related tables, then what happened? It selected all those tables like which are in use inside the products table and inside the orders table. Okay, so like it selected customer. So basically all the interrelated tables will be automatically selected by just clicking on this button. Okay, so it's not mandatory. Okay, it's just optional. If you want, you can leverage this functionality also. Okay, but this will be appearing only when you have a highly normalized database and you have the pre-relationships from your database. Okay, because you see that here order details and supplier, these tables like are already pre-joined in this database. Okay, so generally in our day-to-day projects, we do not get such kind of data. Why? Because generally we get the like raw or unstructured data, so we need to clean that, we need to work on that. Okay, but sometimes what happens, like if we are working on any CRM database, any ERP database, so those databases like already like highly normalized database, and they are having the relationships, everything already. Okay, so once you load such kind of data from the database, okay, not from Excel, from the database directly, then you may leverage this functionality, select related tables. This link does not work for all the databases. Again, I'll say it depends like which database you are using. Okay, so it will work on like databases and only on the relational databases, whether it's like SQL Server, Oracle database, or it's like any OData link for any database. Okay, so if you will try to load it using Excel or for any other data source, then it will not be appeared. Okay, and this will be activated only once you will select any table, right? For example, when I select this table, then this button will be enabled. Okay, so but here we will manually choose all the tables which will be used. So I'm going to choose order details, orders, products, regions, shipper, employees, customers, and categories. Okay, so these tables I selected here. Let's select suppliers and territories. So I selected all these tables. Let's have a quick look at which all tables I selected. All these tables. Okay, now let's load this data in query editor. So to load the data in query editor, we need to click on the transform data button. All right, so here you can see 10 queries, 10 tables, right? In each table, you may see like there are some columns like which are having the reference of other tables. So what are these? These are basically coming here because of this is a sample database. Okay, and what I said, it is a highly normalized database, but in practical scenarios when you will be working on like Excel data sets or like on any unstructured data, then you will not get these relational columns here. Okay, so these are nothing but these are just like merged columns. Okay, so like what is happening here in order details table, order table and product table is already merged. When I say merged, it means it's already joined. Okay, in Power BI, when I say merge, then it means to join. Okay, and when I say append, then it means to union, right? So remember this thing. When I say merge means join, append means union. And using merge or join, we can expand columns. Okay, and using this, we can expand. I'll show you what does it mean. So these referenced columns we are not going to use. So the very first step is when you load the data in Power Query Editor, the very first step should be keep the useful data, okay, or remove all unnecessary data from your tables. Why? Because when you will be having unnecessary data in your tables, in your data set, then it will degrade the performance during the data load, during the data refresh. Okay, so it's a normal, it's a like a very basic thing. Only keep that data in your data model which you are going to use for your data modeling or for your relationships or for your visualization purpose. Okay, apart from that, you have to remove all other columns. Okay, if in future, if you may require, if you require like to add any other column which you removed earlier, then no problem, that you can add it again from here by just few clicks. Okay, so I'm going to remove these two columns. How to remove the columns? Very simple. Just right click on the columns which you want to remove and click on remove columns. These two columns have been removed from the data set. Now one thing you have to notice here, there is one applied step window. Okay, you can see here this is query setting window. Okay, you maybe sometimes this could be like disabled in your system. Okay, so if it is disabled, then how you can enable it? For that, you simply need to just go under the somewhere it should come from, yeah, from the view tab. You have to go in the view tab and there is a query settings, right? So sometimes you may see a Power Query Editor window like this, no query settings tab here, right? So how to enable that query settings window? Just go to the view tab and click on query settings. Okay, and you will get it back. So you can see here applied steps. Okay, so in applied steps, what happens basically, whatever the operation you perform on your table, on your data, everything will be captured here as a step. Okay, like I removed the columns from my table, so it captured that step like removed columns. Okay, now let's say I rename any column. So this is unit price. So here what I'm going to do,